wish was to create a village. I never expected of anything like this to happen.
Give Kids the World is a nonprofit organization that serves families from all around the world. These families are much like yours and mine, but they share a common bond. A child between the ages of 3 and 18 with a life-threatening illness whose one wish is to come and experience all the magic that Central Florida has to offer. There's no greater joy in life than to see these children light up with joy as you're creating the happiness that inspires hope for them.
In many cases, I see myself in these children's faces. Because when I was 13, I was taken to Auschwitz, which was one of the worst camps you could possibly be in. I had no idea that I would be living. I felt that I needed to do something. I met the executive director of Make-A-Wish Foundation, and I told him that I'd like to help the families coming into this area. What would be the thing that they needed? And they said, we need a place for them to come. It was exactly what I was hoping I could do.
Since 1989, the village has expanded many times to meet the growing need. In that time, we've served 120,000 families, which sounds like a staggering number, but there's so many yet to serve. And this is only possible because of the boundless generosity of countless corporate and individual partners.
There's so much need around, not only in the country, but around the world. And the void that Give Kids the World fills is amazing. And I've talked to so many of the families, and they all say the same thing, that they had an idea what they were coming for, but they really had no idea what it was going to be like. The experience, the volunteers, the staff, was just amazing.
You're never really prepared for how impactful it is for one of these families until you actually have a conversation with one of them, and they tell you what this means to them and their family and their children, and how it restores hope for them.
When we finally saw Give Kids the World for the first time, it was just a bright light of warmth. Give Kids the World is that warmth in your heart that makes you go, wow, I have hope again.
At Give Kids the World, you see smiles and you hear laughter. You don't see angry people. You don't see being rushed. You see people having fun and enjoying each other as a family.
Here you're not different. Here you're accepted. Here, people are going through a lot of difficulties in their lives, and you're here to forget that for a week. You're here to kind of leave those behind and really do what it is that binds you as a family.
This experience really just gives them an outlet and a refreshed look on life, and it clearly renews hope for the children and the families themselves.
We're not curing anything. We're not making drugs. We're not doing big things like that. But I think our mission is so simple because we're dispensing hope and love and joy. Those are, to me, the three most powerful drugs on the planet.
I think if you talk to any one of us, we would love to close the place. We just love to close it down. The kids aren't sick anymore. But as long as there are, I think we all are compelled to do whatever we can to make it as special as we can for whatever moments they have.
We had a promise to ourselves that we never turn down a child. And we will not turn down a child, ever, as long as we're here.
I just wanted to say thank you. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
For caring.
For the time you give.
For making us feel welcome.
And for your smile.
And for all that you do.
Thank you, Give Kids the World.
Thanks, Give Kids the World.
Thanks, Give Kids the World.
Everybody crying now? That video I was talking to Brenda earlier gets us every time. Oops. And we'll just turn that off. All right, so see if we can switch back. Have any of you heard of Give Kids the World before? Never. Awesome. You have. Fantastic. Like I said, we're a resort, nonprofit resort. We're located in Kissimmee, Florida. And like they said on the video, what we do at Give Kids the World is not cure anything, but we're there to inspire hope for these families who've gone through traumatic experiences. And they get to come to Florida for a cost-free vacation, which is pretty awesome. So you heard a little bit about Henry Landworth, our founder. He started off actually as a hotelier over in Port Canaveral. He had a hotel, I believe it was a Holiday Inn, I want to say, over there. And he became very friendly with the astronauts, which are good people to become friends with when you're looking to fundraise. And he had one of the wish-granting organizations approach him. There was a little girl named Amy who wanted to come and have her trip to Walt Disney World, meet Mickey Mouse. And Henry was all on board with it. They were in the process of planning this trip out. But unfortunately, the planning process took a little too long, and Amy ended up passing away before she could have her wish. And this is when Henry had his epiphany and said, this should never, ever happen again. Every child should have the world given to them, especially when they're going through such an experience. So that's where Give Kids the World began. And it started in 1986, and he was doing it outside of a lot of the hotels and through the hotels he was managing. And then when he was talking to the wish grant organizations, it became clear they needed a place, because hotels are great, but you're not getting the cheapest rates. It's a lot of money. The whole point was the whole family got to go, not just the wish child, brothers and sisters, parents, extended family, so that they can all come together as a family unit to enjoy it. So a place is what Henry Landworth did. And so our mission, like I was saying, is to provide cost-free vacations for the entire family to come to Central Florida. They get to stay at our village, which is pretty phenomenal. It's hard to grasp from not, just seeing the video. When you get there, it's whimsical, it's out of a storybook. We're trying to make children's dreams come true. And they get to stay there for, if they're domestic, 6 nights, 7 days. If they're international, it's 7 nights, 8 days. And they get all of the entrances to the theme parks included, all of their meals are included, and all of the entertainment, which was what myself and my department does at Give Kids the World. And we get wishes from wish-granting organizations. I'm sure you've heard of Make-A-Wish, but there's tons of over 250 wish-granting organizations that we work with, and they come from all over the country as well as internationally. I think over 20 countries that come. Every year, January, February time, we have a huge group from Israel that comes. Obviously, Great Britain, Canada are big families that come through as well. And so all it takes is a wish. As you can see, Give Kids the World gave me the chance to see my daughter truly be a kid for the first time in her life. When they go to the theme parks, it's amazing. It's what they wanted to do. But a lot of times we hear, we wish we could have spent more time at Give Kids the World, because we try to make it accessible to everybody, inclusive. It's a place where they go, where they don't feel like people are staring at them and looking at them, what's wrong with you, what's wrong with your child. They all feel included, and it's just a comfortable spot for them. So we have lots of fun venues. This is where I like to shine a little bit, because we run the entertainment department. The one at the top here, the Castle of Miracles. This is one of the places that ETC actually came through and has helped in making the most magical experience for our children. In our Castle of Miracles, every wish child gets a star when they check in. They get to decorate their star however they want. And then Stellar, our star fairy, because yes, we do employ a fairy at Give Kids the World, will hang that star in our Castle of Miracles. You're seeing just the main area. There's also a star tower that was erected a few years ago, which also ETC helped us out with, where she flies up, she'll hang the stars, and that star lives in that building forever. As long as that building will be there, families can come back and visit their star. The greatest thing about it is that sometimes you get the actual children who've come, they've grown up, they come to visit their star, and then they volunteer at Give Kids the World too, so it's really meaningful. We've also got a Park of Dreams pool, a playground, which is actually a life-size Candyland board game. So every Sunday night, we're playing Candyland with the families. A gingerbread house where they go to eat. This is in the process of being renovated because we built a brand new town hall, which you'll have to come check out. It's gonna have a 4,000 square foot multi-purpose space. So when I go through all of the entertainment offerings we do offer there, it's gonna give us a place that's large enough to accommodate all of the families, children in wheelchairs, all of the volunteers, so that we don't have to scale down our events. And it's also going to have a food court. So all of our food offerings will be in one place, making it much easier for the families. And then what we must be well known for is our ice cream palace. At Give Kids the World, our ice cream palace opens at 7:30 in the morning. So that's right, kids have ice cream for breakfast if they want to. And it's open all day long till 9:30, it's unlimited. They can go in there anytime they want and grab themselves some ice cream. And then we have Amberville train station. This is our recreational facility. There's a 7-hole mini golf course. They can drive remote controlled boats. We have giant iPads in there that they can play all sorts of games on. And a Julie Safari Theater is a typical movie theater, but we also have our version of American Idol. It's called Village Idol, where the kids do a talent show. They're all the stars of the show. And when families come on property, like I said, we're not really like a hotel in that we want them to feel like they're at home. So they get to stay in a home that maybe looks like a castle, which is pretty cool. Each villa that you see over there, each house is 2 villas, and they all have 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, full-size kitchen, full-size washer dryer. We want them to feel like they're at home when they're with us. And so here you're gonna see all the entertainment offerings we have. You might see this guy in the middle. He looks like a pirate now. That's Mayor Clayton. He is the mayor of our village. He's my boss. I don't know how many of you can say that your boss is a giant 6-foot bunny, but I do. And Mayor Clayton is actually married to Miss Mary. She's also a bunny rabbit. They exchange carrots at a legit ceremony. They do not have children because they say all of the children of Give Kids the World are their kids. And so every day throughout the week, actually, let's go back to that, we have different entertainment offerings. In the morning, and we have lots of help from corporate sponsors. All of the theme parks come out and help. So on a Monday and a Thursday morning, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Pluto, Goofy, they'll come out and they'll meet and greet with the kids at Give Kids the World. So they don't need to rush to the parks, wait in long lines. They get that intimate experience there. Nickelodeon and Universal also do that. They'll bring out characters for the kids to meet and greet. We also have a company that comes out and brings horses twice a week. And they can do horse and pony rides, which is great. We've gotten lots of feedback where families said, well, I didn't know if I ever wanted to try that therapy before. They tried it at Give Kids the World, and then they've gone home, and it's helped their children immensely. In the evening time, there's a different event every day of the week. So every Monday at Give Kids the World, it's Halloween. Kids get the experience to dress up if they want to. They can make masks. They can go trick-or-treating. Every Tuesday, Mayor Clayton has a surprise birthday party. You'd think he'd remember from week to week, but he doesn't. He's the oldest bunny on the face of the earth, and he's surprised every single time. And we'll do traditional birthday games. The idea is we want to incorporate things that kids might miss out on when they're in treatment. Or, you know, other kids, even the brothers and sisters who aren't in treatment, they miss out on because mom or dad's always at the hospital with the other child. So we're trying to make those memories for them. Every Wednesday we have Village Idol. Thursday is Christmas. It's Winter Wonderland. So Santa is there. And one of our corporate sponsors, Hasbro, actually provides gifts to every child that comes to Give Kids the World. And not just, you know, last year's gifts, like what's popular now, which is pretty amazing. Friday night we have Pirate and Princess. So kids can dress up as either a pirate or princess, do lots of fun games. Saturday we do a big splash bash pool party. And Sunday, as I mentioned, takes place at the big playground, and we do the life-size Candyland game. So we fulfill over 7,000 wishes in a year, okay, which is kind of crazy, and it's growing. And like Neil said on the video, we would love nothing more than to not have to open Give Kids the World. That means kids are not sick. But unfortunately, that is the case, and as long as there's a child that has a wish, we will always have our doors open to them and try and meet the needs of their wish. And we have domestic as well as international wishes. We have, obviously, we're a nonprofit, so we need support. We get lots of support from, like we said, the Disneys, the Universals, but individual giving, we have fundraisers that are going on. Our closest fundraiser now is our Black and White Gala, which takes place in May. You can run your own ice cream for breakfast, or as they're rebranding, Scoops of Hope, down wherever you are, and raise money for Give Kids the World. And then in November, we have our gingerbread run. But money isn't the only thing we need at Give Kids the World, because everything that I just told you about as far as entertainment is run by volunteers. We have a very, very small employee base. We train volunteers every day, all day, every day. In the venue, sometimes upwards 4 times a day, whatever party we're offering, we go and train them on the spot, and they're the ones that are being the front of house interacting with the families. So we call our volunteers at Give Kids the World angels, because that's what they are. They're the ones that are creating this happiness for the families. And you can sign up. We have individual volunteering. Lots of families come out together. Former Wish families come out and volunteer. Groups, corporate sponsors. We do everything and anything at Give Kids the World. And you can stay connected with us, obviously, through social media. We're everywhere. And we'd love to have you on there and following us on. And that's basically it in a nutshell. I know I'm before lunch and everybody's hungry. So does anybody have any questions? Wow, I was that good, huh? We don't really do so much as far as creating technology. But like I said, we do have a very great relationship with ETC, thanks to Brenda. And they come out, which predates me, but they've done so much for us. Last year, they sent 2 interns from ETC who helped us to maintain things that we have out there that they've created in the past to make our lives easier so that the family experience is better. There's nothing, a lot of people always ask us, isn't it really depressing to be there, to volunteer there, and all these kids are sick? And that's not the case. When they're here at Give Kids the World with us, that's the happiest moment of their lives. And you get caught up in that, and that's the whole purpose of Give Kids the World. It's later on when they come back to visit their star, or a parent comes back to visit their star and they're not there. That's when it gets you, but you know you've impacted them. And we get lots of feedback saying, later on, you know, I've never seen my child so happy. They went home and flourished. They got better. And you hear that more often than not. So when we say happiness inspires hope, that's exactly what we mean. And it's a big transformational experience for these entire families. So, yes, sir?
I just had a question about the relationship of the village with the rest of the parks. Is there like events where we get on the bus and we're going to go to Disney World and then we're going to go to SeaWorld and things like that?
Yeah, well, what happens is when the family comes on property, it all goes through their wish granting organization before they get to the village. And sometimes the wish granting organization, depending upon how much money they raise for the wish, will be able to get a rental car for the family. So if that's the case, they can make their own, you know, schedule of where they want to go. We're going to go to Magic Kingdom in the morning and then go to, you know, Universal later. But they get 3 days to Disney. They get 2 days to Universal so that they can do both parks if they want to, and they also get a day at SeaWorld. We also have relationships with Legoland, Busch Gardens, Gatorland, so if they wanted to swap out their tickets and go elsewhere, they can personalize their vacation. Families that don't get a rental car, Mears Shuttle comes twice a day, and they'll pick up families to take them to the various parks and also return them upon request. Did you have a question?
Yeah, that was just like, how do you get involved with?
That's a great question. If you visit our website, which is www.gktw.org, there's a little tag for volunteers, and you can go on there to fill out an application if you want to physically come down and volunteer. Also, if you want to make donations or take part in any of the fundraisers that are going on, all of that information is on there.
Are there fundraisers that are done here in Pittsburgh, or is it all?
No, well, the Scoops of Hope, the ice cream for breakfast that I was telling you about, is something that you can definitely do in your hometown, wherever you want. It's basically hosting an ice cream party and raising the money for it. And you can, again, go on our website to get information about that. And you can also, anytime you want, if you wanted to individually donate anytime through the website as well. Yeah. But if you ever have the opportunity, if you are in Central Florida, it's an amazing time, place to come and give back a few hours of your time. It's quite rewarding.
I was just curious with architecturally designing these spaces for so many different types of people, wheelchairs and different types of things going on. How that's all done? Is that do you guys work with that, or is that just the architects?
It's constantly a work in progress. Every building we have is meant to be all access. So all doors are wheelchair accessible. We actually just received a massive donation last year at IAPA. The company Zamperla out in Italy is really gung-ho about creating an all-access park, I believe in New York sometime soon. But they created, it's called the Magic Bikes Ride, and it's actually at Legoland. They took 2 of the rides and made a wheelchair accessible seat, as well as a transfer seat where you can transfer a child out. So there's accessibility for everybody to go on this ride where you're spinning around, and the more you pedal, obviously if you're in a wheelchair you're not using your feet, they use hand pedals. So the more they pedal, it goes up in the air. So we try to make it as inclusive as possible, and that's why we get a lot of those comments, like I said, where families said, I wish we could have spent more time at Give Kids the World, because they felt everything was accessible for them there. It's easy, it's comfortable, so yeah. But it's constant. We're just building a brand new building now, the town hall that I mentioned. So yeah, architects, it goes into that planning right from the start, making sure there's the wheelchair ramps and the elevators and all of that. Yes, ma'am?
Can you describe some of the projects you did with ETC?
Yes, actually, you could probably talk a little more on it. But we have in our Castle of Miracles, it's called the Pillow Tree. So there's a little owl named Hermes who lives in that tree. And every family that comes on property gets a certificate to make pillows. So all of the siblings have to go up to this tree, and Hermes wakes up and they fill it with happiness, their love, their great thoughts. And through that, they create their own pillows. And what happens is we have volunteers all over the country that make the pillowcases, and they'll make them keeping in mind for girls, for boys, for older teenagers, younger kids. And through their power of hope and love, they get to make this magical pillow, which was quite an endeavor. We also have the star experience, which I briefly mentioned. When they first go into the castle, they're greeted right at the front, and there are 3 screens, and Stellar, the star fairy, is starring in her own little show. They open up a treasure chest after they decorate their star, they put it in there, and when they close the treasure chest, it kicks off the show. So Stellar will fly around, she'll dive down into the box to retrieve the star, and she'll show them putting it up in the screen. The next day, the families gets a passport delivered to their villa, and it tells them where Stellar hung the star, and then they can come back to the castle anytime they want to and see where Stellar hung their star. So it's pretty magical. Those are 2 things. They've also built, I believe it was games inside the House of Hearts, which is our guest services area. When people come in and you've got kids, they don't want to sit down and listen to what someone's going to say to them, so they can run over there and play right away. But there's been so much. They've also recently, we've teamed up with them, and they created videos for us. So I told you about our Pirate and Princess party. We now have a video starring our very own Mayor Clayton and Miss Mary called Where's Miss Mary? That they created, and we show every Friday night on the screen for families to see. So they brought our characters to life. It's not just Mickey Mouse anymore. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
If there's a need, how does that filter down and a decision be made that a wish is fulfilled?
It all goes through a wish granting organization first, so like your Make-A-Wish or your Dream Factory. So they have to first, a child would get recommended by a doctor or a teacher or someone to that wish granting organization within their state, their county, what have you, and then it would build from there. If the child's wish is to go anywhere in Central Florida, Give Kids the World is where they'll try and put them up. And like I said, included in that trip, they get all their entrances to the parks and all of that. So even if their wish is to go to Disney, they get with that SeaWorld, Universal, everything else, and all the entertainment we provide. Got 1 more minute. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it, and have a great day.